All right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here. I'm here with my man Kyle Driscoll. Kyle, how are we doing, my man?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and no problem at all. And Kyle, you're coming off a big win. I mean, talk to us a bit more about your performance and what's maybe next for you.
Yeah, it was a big win, man. Biggest win of my career, that's for sure. Hussein was a great opponent. Took the fight, knowing that there was a big opportunity on the other side, and I'm happy with my ability to get the win. And now we're in the PFL tournament, so now the work really begins.
Yeah. Now, with you being in the PFL tournament, I mean, what month could we maybe see you back in there? Do you maybe know anything about that yet?
I know nothing yet. I haven't spoke with my manager. I don't know how PFL is operating this because they're finishing up all the finals. So I don't know if they do like an off season and then they jump into a new tournament, but we're just going to continue to prepare, chip away, and then whenever my manager calls with details, I'll be ready.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good to hear, and we're looking forward to hearing those details soon. And now you mentioned you had a pretty tough opponent. I mean, what'd you kind of think of your opponent after fighting him and everything about that?
Man, he's obviously a well-trained guy. He's, that Eastern Bloc style. I was more I was more not worried. I was more curious about his wrestling. I didn't I figured the striking was going to be uh very dominant on my side, but that cage was pretty big and he just moved so well. I mean, those Eastern European guys, they do. I just felt like I was overextending. He would just kick and move and kick and move and then commit, like blitz in and then move. And that's on me. I should have been ready to counter. I just couldn't get things going there. But about halfway through the first round, I was tired of trying to chase him down. So I told myself, it was crazy. I actually heard Coach Hav from AK. I heard his voice. He used to always tell me if I was sparring, he'd say, use your queen on the chessboard, which is my wrestling. And I like heard Coach Hav's voice in my head. And I couldn't get him to like set his feet down. Even if I was like stutter feigning, he would still just move. So I was like, all right, next kick he throws, I gotta start wrestling. And then the wrestling was like, I wouldn't say easier than I thought, but I was able to be more dominant than I just didn't know what to expect with his wrestling. But I was grateful that, a lifetime of wrestling was the difference maker in the fight.
No, it's definitely paid off for sure. And now with your fight, I mean, have you watched it back and all? And if you have, I mean, do you agree with the 30-27 that you got awarded with?
I watched it back like three times. I don't agree with my 30-27, and I don't agree with his 30-27.
I agree.
Whatever judge did 29-28, that's what I believe to be true. And I watched it with commentary and I watched it without commentary. And it's not like I don't know why he was acting so arrogant and like I don't know, but like round one was very like we're both trying to fill each other out. Uh his kicks made like a slapping noise, but they weren't like detrimental. But they slapped the skin. And then it was like I just dominated the wrestling and the ground exchanges. So round one was clearly mine, in my opinion. And this is like a non-biased standpoint. And then round two, I controlled the grappling even more than round one. I got to it even earlier. And then round three, I just so with like 2 minutes left, in round three, you can see he landed a calf kick and my whole leg went numb. And I'd never felt that before. He like landed that on that peroneal nerve perfect. So I had to take him down and meet like I was like, oh my God, I can't feel my leg. And we've seen with Sean O'Malley when his ankle gave out, and I was like somewhat worried about that happening. I was like, that's not going to look good. And I was still able to take him down. Took him down, and then we got into this funky scramble, and I'm sitting, and I didn't even know at this time how bad my leg was. So the ref was like, advance, or I'm going to stand you up. And I knew I couldn't come back to my feet. I was like, I don't know how bad my leg is right now from that one kick. And he ended up on top in that scramble. And then I just had to, in my head, I was up 2 rounds. So I was like, you know what? Just play this last 45 seconds down here is better than coming to our feet and something stupid happening. So that was just like my fight IQ, I think, just kind of playing that smart. But man, I've watched it back 3 or 4 times. I don't know why he was acting so arrogant. And then he came in the back. We almost got like a team on team fight because he was just being a little punk. Uh, But, I truly believe that the wrestling was the difference maker in that fight.
I definitely agree. I definitely think that's a fair assessment for sure. And now, when they were reading the judges' scorecard live, I mean, what was kind of going through your head? Did you think you had that one there after you heard the last 30-27?
Well, I just didn't anticipate two judges going 30-27 in two different directions. So when I even watched I've watched the entirety, like my walk out to the hand being raised, and they I anticipated 29-28. I asked my coach like 30 times, like, hey, did we win? He was like, we're gonna get a split decision, two judges to one, 29-28. So when they said 30-27 to Hussein, I was like, no way, what? Like maybe I was just like lost in the fight and like in the moment, I didn't realize. Then they said 29-28 me, and I was like, okay, that's what I agree with. And then the announcer, it was hard to hear him. I couldn't really hear him. And then he took these pauses and he goes, Judge three scores the bout 30-27 for your winner. And so I'm like, man, are you joking? Like, that sucks. So when they said Kyle, and I couldn't hear the announcer really. So like Kyle or Kadi Megomayev, I couldn't really realize what I was hearing. I had already accepted the fact that shit, they gave him two 30-27s, don't know how. And I felt my arm coming up and I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome. Like I said, I'm definitely glad you pulled out the win. I definitely think that was the right call for sure. And now another thing I was wondering, I mean, like you mentioned, you think the PFL tournament's going to be in your future. I mean, what's kind of maybe your goals right now with MMA right now?
Man, I was in a place, I have a lot of peace with MMA because I was kind of done with it. The UFC hadn't called. And when I fought 2 years ago, I fought for Cage Warriors, and the whole narrative was like, go finish this guy, and the UFC is going to call. And knocked him out in the first round. Graham Boylan from Cage Warriors even came up and was like, hey, I think we're done with you. You should be getting a call from Sean Shelby soon. So this whole narrative, man, is like this high of like, yes, like everything went to plan. Let's go. And then I come back and I'm training. 2 weeks go by, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. The UFC didn't call. I was like, man, screw this. Like PFL, I just never really talked to my manager about pursuing. I was just kind of like horse blinders on the UFC. So I stopped training, man, and I'm very competitive, so I still have to compete. So I was doing like jujitsu full time and like coaching wrestling. So I was still doing two-a-days. I was lifting weights heavy. I competed in jujitsu at 188, and I had to cut a little bit for that. So I was like getting big, doing jujitsu, loving it. And my manager texted me 7 days or 7 weeks out. I was like, hey, this guy needs an opponent. Didn't look him up once. Didn't go to his Instagram. Didn't look him up. Nothing. Let my coaches do it. I just screw it. It's not about him. I just need to prepare as well as I can. When he told me the pay, I was like, yeah, because he sends me matchups all the time. It's like Emmanuel Sanchez for Anthony Pettis fighting, but it's like for 2000 and 2000. And that just doesn't, at this point, I was like, man, whatever. I'm okay. So when he said the pay on that, and then the contract was going to stay off a win, we're in the world tournament, I just knew the opportunities on the other side of this. So to jump back into the pool of full-time MMA training and go get a win like that, I'm very proud of. He's a stud. Hussein, as much as I think he's a punk, I think, I'll give him his roses. The kid is well trained. He's an animal. Uh, he's got a bright future in the sport, no doubt. But now I'm in a position with time. I have, like I said, I don't know when the next season of the tournament starts, but it's not going to be in the relatively near future. So I have time to, train without camp, train, get things going, and whatever's next, man. I'm not concerned about an opponent. They're all good. They're all going to be tough, and just whatever's next from PFL, I'm just going to capitalize on the opportunity and always looking for a better performance, regardless. Even if you go out and have a perfect night, you want to find things to grow on. So just continuing the journey of the martial arts.
No, I definitely think that's a good way to look at it. I definitely think there's some good goals. And now you mentioned fighting on Dana White Contender Series in the UFC. Is the UFC still maybe on your mind at all?
At this point, no. I'm gonna be very grateful for where I'm at and stay present. I've cornered a lot of UFC fights, and that was my first experience with PFL. PFL is top notch, man. I truly I'm very happy to be a part of their organization. It just comes, I think as I was coming up in like childhood dream, you get caught up in the UFC. Like, oh, my dream's the UFC. My dream is I want to be in the UFC, and that it's that brand name, which is great. But maybe the dream all along was like making money from this to support me and my family, right? Like maybe that was the dream to actually be a professional with it. So, uh, I'm very if the UFC if it never comes, I'm $500,000 sounds like a great paycheck to me. So I've got my eyes on that.
No, I definitely think 500 grand is definitely a good paycheck to kind of be striving for, no doubt about it. And now with you fighting on Dana White Contender Series and the show is going to be starting this week, I mean, do you have maybe any advice for the fighters that are going to be fighting on the upcoming season?
Man, I was yeah, I don't get caught up in trying to so I went against the game plan because it was Dana White's Contender Series. We were fighting a great boxer and I was the wrestler, he was the boxer, and I heard right before I walked out Bisping said if Driscoll can't get the fight to the ground, he's in a lot of trouble. So I was like, man, screw this. I'm gonna go outbox this guy. And I take him down like, this I was with Khabib, training with Khabib full time at this time and single leg him and I'm just in a position to maul him. Probably would have finished the guy. It was effortless, really. And he works hard to get up and I kind of let him up. And there's a moment when I watch the fight, I let him up and I like do this and like let's box then. I want to prove this. Shouldn't have done that. Should have just stuck to the game plan, but you really don't know what you're going to get. And no knock on Dana. Dana's the man. He's great for MMA. But the week before me was 5 decisions. He says, "I'm in a great mood. I just got back from vacation. I'm going to take all 5 guys." Sweet. I go beat this guy by decision. It was a good fight. And then he says, "I don't want any decisions this week. Uh, Kyle Driscoll's young. We'll see him one day, but tonight's not his night." So you just go fight your fight, just and let the chips fall where they will. You can't control what he sees, what he thinks, what he wants. So just go fight, and it is a weird feeling. I left. I just won on Contender Series. That's a huge win, and but when we got into the car to leave the venue, it was like I felt like I lost. So it was a weird dynamic, but yeah, just go fight your fight. Let the chips fall how they will.
I think that's some pretty solid advice with that, especially after you were coming off a win. And now you mentioned you were training with Khabib. I mean, what was maybe some of the best advice or maybe some of the best things he might have taught you throughout that journey?
It was just very hands-on learning. I got to train with Khabib for like 9 years, man. There was a time at AKA was like Khabib was on the come up. Then we get into the McGregor fight. DC's champ. Kane's about to fight Francis. Luke Rockhold's still there. Then you have just the room was crazy. Every day was like ESPN embedded or it was crazy. But I was very fortunate, with those Dagestan guys. It's kind of like a respect is earned type deal. And I was just always willing, whether it was Khabib, Islam, Gaji, Sagid, Islam Mamedov, like they would bring a whole crew and Usman, Umar, like I was just always willing. Like if they need sparring, I want to spar them. I want to grapple them. And with Khabib, I was a big part of his Conor McGregor camp, which was awesome. He helped me a lot prepare for many fights. He kind of shifted by the time I was fighting for the Cage Warriors title. He kind of shifted to coaching full time, so got to experience like Coach Khabib. But man, just he. There's one thing about him is like he's unwavering with his game plan. Like if his game plan is to take you down and you stop 5 takedowns, you're gonna have to stop 6, 7, 8, 9. Like he's gonna get it. It's unwavering. He's not gonna deter off what he's looking for just because you stopped it once or twice. That was a big thing I took from him. And just, he led by example. I messaged him after the fight and just it was good to see him on fight week. So just, thanking him for all the things he's done for me and the things he's taught me and the time he's put in with me. But I'd say just watching him, man, he's relentless in everything he does. Every session is 100% focus, 100% intention, and he's just always getting better daily. And that's something that I take the blueprint I got from all those guys, and that's kind of what I instill in my training today.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Khabib's definitely a good guy to be looking at for sure, and that's definitely awesome to hear that you got to message him after the fight. Now you mentioned you saw him at the fights and you messaged him as well. I mean, did you hear back from Khabib, and did you also get to talk to him at the fights?
Yeah, he shot me a voice message, which I really appreciated because I'm very close with all those guys. Like, one thing about them is their loyalty is crazy, but man, I spent 9 years with them. I was training with for 9 years. I was with them every day. We had 3 times a day. We had morning spar or wrestling or jujitsu. We were back in the afternoon for mitts with Coach Hav all together. We had cardio in the evening all together every day, 9 years. And so he was like a big brother to me. So like Abu Bakr, Manat came down, watched my weight cut for a little bit, got to see him, and then talked to Khabib for quite a while. But there's like an element of like I just anticipated Khabib like getting him being in my corner type deal because that's how close we are. And just the dynamic was weird and I wasn't going to press it. And then he sent me a voice message kind of explaining the situation that he knows Hussein's family, he knows Hussein's cousins and brothers. And he said when it's a situation like this, he he doesn't get involved. He knows both guys, he's close with both guys, he doesn't get involved, which I highly respect. He mentioned, if you're fighting a different guy, I'm supposed to hop in your corner. So I appreciated getting that from him because I was kind of like, man, I guess that's where I stand with him. I thought we were a little closer, but it was good to hear that. He's the man. I can't imagine being in his shoes. He's just he's a like a people pleaser and you can't make everyone happy, but he did the right thing. And I know how much he values and appreciates wrestling. And so it was good to hear him, kind of give me my roses on my ability to wrestle that night.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome to hear that Khabib was loyal like that, and he sent you the voice message for sure. And now you mentioned you were training with Khabib during the Conor McGregor training camp as well. I mean, do you have any cool behind the scenes moments that might have happened during that fight camp?
Man, it was just like it was a different level of intensity. It was almost like maybe some would say eerie. Like it was like it wasn't like other fight camps. He's joyful. He's like we're playing music during training. After training, he's laughing. He's making jokes. All those guys are little jokesters. And this camp was very different. Like we didn't play music in training. There was a guy, I won't say his name, but I guess he followed Connor on Instagram. And after at AK, after every practice, you have a team meeting, you sit around, you talk. Coach Hov talks, some of the higher up guys, DC, Kane, Luke, Khabib, they'll get a chance to speak. And Khabib was like, brother, you follow this Connor. You follow Connor. You're a traitor. Why are you here? Why you want to be here? You follow him. You like him. Go be with him. Uh, which was funny. Then we had a guy, Miles Price, who's awesome. He's a great guy. Fought for PFL. Um, he came in. He's from Ireland, but he's like a rival with Connor. So he came to AKA, and I mean, when I say the Russians straight up checked him, he got a full check. It was just coincidental timing, but I guess Miles had a falling out with like Peter Queally and Connor and Artem, like huge falling out with the gym. So he came to AKA, but right at this time is when the Connor Khabib matchups being announced. So they thought he was like an insider. And this poor dude, I thought he was about to get jumped. I was like, there was just a lot, man. it was just a different atmosphere. It was a different 12 weeks. It was less like lightheartedness and joyful and enjoying the sport, and more like, if he can kill this man, he will. That was what we thought. Uh, but dude, something I'll take to the grave. So cool to be a part of.
No, that's definitely awesome to hear, and that's definitely some pretty cool stories for sure, man. And Kyle, you're obviously a beast and whatnot in the cage. But I mean, what do you kind of like to do outside the cage when you're not in there training and fighting?
Man, I'm a big golfer. I like to golf. I run my business. Started an online fitness coaching business in COVID after Contender Series when I didn't get signed. I kind of realized fighting's going to end one day. So I wanted to have a backup plan, but my business has taken off. So the online fitness coaching, my biggest passion is coaching. I coach at one of the best high school wrestling teams in the country, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Our coach is legendary, Rodney Jones. Um, recently married, so I enjoy being a newlywed with my wife. We're talking about having a kid in the near future. So, uh, I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man from Oklahoma. It doesn't take much. I just like my family, fighting, golf, and I'm good, man.
That's definitely awesome. That's definitely sounds like an awesome life to kind of live, my man. And Kyle, it's been awesome having you on the show. I appreciate you taking the time. I mean, what's maybe your final message out there to the fans watching this video?
I appreciate you tuning in, whether you're one of the Russian haters or one of the supporters. I appreciate you tuning in. Um, and I look forward to making my run in this tournament. So tune in, and I truly believe I'm going to be the PFL World Tournament champion.
Yeah, and Kyle, it was awesome talking to you, and I appreciate you taking the time right after your PFL fight. And we're looking forward to seeing your how your journey goes, my man.
I appreciate you, man. It's good seeing you that night, and we'll chat soon.
Let's go, Kyle!